Mm. Oh, hello. Good evening, ladies and, well, Brian, and welcome to the second episode of Tech Tuesday with Ted, where I just give a little short show where I talk about things tech and maybe a little photography, but don't hold me to anything, please. It's the second episode. As you probably noticed, I already changed the title of the show. Hmm. I'm not sure if you guys are picking up an echo. If you do, it's my iPad. Uh, I have it on the background here to the side. In case I do a little moving around, I'll just use that camera. Show you guys around. But let me get into YouTube. I want to see the show. But while you guys are here, why don't you share your thoughts? What's going on you got on your mind tonight, especially if you're in the US, election night. Oh, hi, Crisco 2010. And found my YouTube. Boom. Let me just, you know, I think all I'm going to say about this election is actually something that was said by Stephen Colbert back in 2016. And, it was around 12 a.m. and we were all watching, the polls closing and being counted. And, it was at 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. It was too early to call it. But what he said, like, really stuck with me these 4 years where, maybe once this is over, we can all not, you know, be all in politics as our part of our daily lives and just go on like living our daily lives. And I guess that stuck with me because that has not happened at all these past 4 years. And maybe after, the 2020 election, what he says will be, happen where we don't have to be in politics every single day. It's tiring, really. But back to the show. I got the YouTube up. Hey, Brian. Hi, Crisco. Now, previously on the first episode of TED Talks with Ted, it wasn't called that, but stay with me. I was uh, I was showcasing a problem I had. I was trying to find my next daily driver smartphone. I knew it was going to be an Android phone. I knew my criteria was, my next Android daily driver had to have a headphone jack and an SD card slot and be a phone befitting a power user. I was saying all this because my current daily driver for now phone, the LG G8X, it's a currently unlocked Sprint variant. Doesn't give me, I can't, while I'm with Visible, can't send out SMS, can't uh, send or receive MMS messages, can't call toll free numbers. So I was looking for something else. And previously, I gave you guys my options. Sorry, let me just take a. Good year. My options were, and let me just say, it was the Moto Edge, not the Moto Edge Plus, simply the Moto Edge, which you can actually buy for $400 on their website or on Amazon. You can buy that phone, $400. Snapdragon 765G processor. Yes, it supports 5G, available on all networks. And it has a headphone jack. I love that. And a SD card slot. And another plus is Motorola's version of Android is forget about stock, but very vanilla with their very useful tweaks. The cons on the Motorola phone was, because it's a Lenovo phone, Lenovo was being honest for once, and they were saying that only one software update is guaranteed. So pretty much after Android 11, don't even like that. That's it. Just expect only that. And the second con with the Motorola Edge was its edge. Like if I don't know if you've seen the phone, but seriously, go to Motorola's website, look up Motorola Edge, and just look at the edges of the phone. Like it's too much edge. It's pretty much impossible to find a screen protector for that phone, and applying a wet plastic screen protector is just going to be weird on that thing. So yeah, really the build was a concern. But again, for $400, it was actually a serious contender. The second option was the Sony Xperia Mark II. No, yeah, the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II. That, Sony's flagship phone that's just right under the Xperia 1 Mark II with 120 hertz refresh rate, comes with a headphone jack and an SD card slot. And here's the kicker. You don't need a SIM injector tool for that SD card slot. No, you can use your fingernail, pry it open and take out the slot. And have access to your SD card slot and SIM card right there. Again, you don't need a SIM card to get at the SD card slot and SIM card. Fantastic. Cons of that phone, it's a fantastically built phone and all, don't get me wrong. It's just the cons is that it's $950. It's a lot of money, which that in itself would not be a problem, spending $950 for a phone like that, the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II, because, it's a Sony. Mwah. But what rubs me about that phone was namely its 5G support. If I'm going to be spending after taxes, pretty much $1,000 at this point, if I'm going to be spending that much on a phone, I'm going to hold on to it a lot longer, and it's going to have to, it was the 5G that was bothering me really. The Sony Xperia 5 Mark II supports 5G, sub-6 5G as well. Not the ultra wideband stuff, but only in other markets. So when it comes to the US, it will not support those. It will not support 5G of any sort, which is ridiculous. Like Sony went out of their way to nerf 5G on this $1,000 phone when you pay for it with taxes, and that doesn't sit well with me, especially when you consider my carrier Visible are saying they're not going to have this sub-6 5G but at no extra charge. So that's what bugged me, a phone can support 5G, but the manufacturers remove it. And, Sony's argument was, in America, 5G is all over the place. We don't know what the hell we're doing. And they're not wrong, but still, I'm paying $1,000. You need to put that back. There might be a way to bring it to make the phone available for 5G if maybe if you like reflash, European firmware onto the phone, pretty much like the old school days when Sony was killing their side fingerprint scanner for whatever reason. You could just easily enable it if you flashed European firmware, and everything would be okay. But Visible is so touchy about phones that can work on their carrier that I can't even risk it. So that was the cons with the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II. The third option, which was the Hail Mary option at this point, was the Pixel 4a 5G. Headphone jack, check. No SD card slot though. The con, so I'm already compromising and settling. But I think that was what, $400. So anyway, back to present day, I am happy to announce I have made my decision for my next daily driver for 2021. Not just this end of this year, but the end of next year too. Need to start saving money, guys. I've been spending recklessly. Drum roll? Yes. Drum roll. My smartphone for 2021 is, ta-da! You're probably like, what is it? It looks like an LG G8X. It is. It is an LG G8X. More specifically, it is an unlocked LG G8X. Straight from the manufacturers, no carrier bloatware, none of that hussa, although it does come with bloatware, but from LG themselves, like some games, Facebook and Instagram, but I can uninstall all of them, not just disable, uninstall them, so thank goodness. And this phone can be had, I bought it from B&H Photo for $499. Yes, $499. That is cheaper than a Pixel 5. Yes, it is. And you know what? It doesn't support 5G, but come on. It has a second screen. It has an amazing headphone jack with a quad DAC that can power my Sennheiser HD6X. The ones from Massdrops. If I want to really get into the music. Knock it off. Okay, it's happy every time I unlock. It's happy to see me every time I unlock it. That's why it's making that sound. And it's just a tried and true phone. And it works perfectly under visible. I'll say it again for anyone that's looking for another phone on visible. The unlocked LG G8X, straight from LG or B&H Photo, not one that's from a carrier that's unlocked, will work on visible, no problem. And I am happy to say, yeah, I can rock this phone to 2021 because, again, it has the headphone jack. It has the SD card slot. It can do the 4K 60, no problem. And, I have options with the dual screen case, 2 different apps on one screen. I can do, there's a feature that's on, people see on the Duo or the Z Fold 2, where, you can press one app and, 2 different apps open at the same time on each screen. The LG G8X can do that. So it's right there for productivity and for gaming, because it has the gamepad. And for $500, I'm not complaining. $540 with tax. And so yeah, that closed that chapter. What did I compromise on though? I compromised on support for 5G, which for $500, I mean, the Pixel 4a 5G could have given me 5G support, but I guess I gave that up because really with 5G in my area, Verizon here in Dallas is not so great, and with 5G, it's only going to be better than 4G, like a little bit better. So wasn't that much of a deal for me. I can forgo that, for $500. I consider, a really excellent headphone jack and the dual screen case to be positive. So, paying $100 extra for the Pixel 4a 5G. Okay, so yeah, so apart for that book being closed on Tech Tuesday, I was also, this is where I was going to show you guys around. Was also able to Mm, let's do it. Boom, boom. Hey, hey, hey. Oops, sorry, covering the camera. I always do that on an iPad. I was also able to, whew, look at that, upgrade this PC, the CPU from an i3, yes, to an i7, ninth generation. Well, it's the 9700, and I'm currently celebrating by, as you can see, downloading Grand Theft Auto 5. Let me be humble for a moment, actually, and be honest. I could not have done this without Mike. Mike is muted. I could not have done it without Jeremy M's help from the Some Gadget Guys Discord. Uh, Again, the man took 10 minutes, or was it 15 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes out of his day to help me install and upgrade my CPU on my PC, which is, the most daring of install upgrades that you can do for your CPU. And Jeremy was right there, gave me that tech support over the phone, then talked me through it. Whenever some gadget guy says, he has the best of peoples on his Discord, I can testify. It is really the best sort of bunch. So it's definitely worth paying that whatever it is for his Patreon, Juan Bagnall's Patreon. I think you get the lowest tier is like $1 a month or $2 a month if you want to get your name in credits. It's really been money actually well spent for a year now. But yeah, as I showed you, I'm actually downloading Grand Theft Auto 5. I think when COVID, I got it free in March when Epic gave it away for free. Okay, let me check the chat. Your browser has blocked your mic and camera. Please refresh the page. Okay. Ted, let me name this part Ted's Eyes and just no. Okay, so okay, so that happened on Tech Tuesday. Me deciding on my phone and upgrading my CPU. The third thing that I saw that was worth mentioning on this show is Mike put out a video. Mike from Joker Tech. Actually, let me see if I can share the screen and. Mike put out a video. Joker Tech put out a video on why should you upgrade to the Pixel 5. Let me go find it. Hunt for Red October. And I am putting it on for my sake so I can jog my memory on what his conclusion was on the video. Share the screen. Sharing is easiest with two monitors. Isn't that the truth? I don't know if you can get sound on this, but title is called Do We Need a Pixel 5? Now, what Now, what Mike advocates pretty much in his video, I think, I might be getting it wrong, and if I am, correct me in the comments below. Also, that's also to you, Mike. Mike is making the argument that any, software upgrades, uh, not just to, Android, but to also the camera itself, will come down to the Pixel 3 because, Google says 3 years of software updates now. And so his argument is, do you even need a Pixel 5? And I think that question is actually it's a great question to ask yourself when, because it's like this, if you have a Pixel 3 or Pixel 4 even, should you even look at the Pixel 5? At the Pixel, if you're and I was just going to say, if you're a Pixel 4 owner, you're probably in a place of confusion. That is, which is part of the course for 2020 because the Pixel 4 Snapdragon 855 chip, oops, excuse me. Hey, what's... You grabbing something to eat? What you grabbing? So, Pixel 4's Snapdragon 855 chip was a very good processor. It didn't have much of a battery to keep it on, but in terms of you know, power compared to its other competitors using the same 855 processor, Pixel 4's Snapdragon 855 processor can run circles on my LG G8X 855 chipset. I can admit this. I can admit that comfortably because it's true. It's true. I'm not going to wrestle with fact. And then, here you have Pixel 5, the next year's upgrade, 765 chip, and the 765 chip can't even compete with a Snapdragon 845. And I will say that again. The Pixel 3, in terms of CPU and GPU performance, is better than the Pixel 5. Mm. So, on that premise alone, I can see why people would complain. Pixel, no, not people. Pixel fans would complain. 7 6. What there's uh, for 2020, Google is pretty much just focused on what it can do in hardware, and that is, bring out the best software experience it can, and not so much wow on the hardware anymore. And this is true for the camera, especially. Pixel camera has not changed in 3 years. So when you consider the fact that a Pixel 3 and the camera hardware of the Pixel 3 is pretty much similar, and in terms of the CPU is the same. No, not the same. Better than the Pixel 5. Why should you upgrade? Why? Yeah, why would you upgrade? I mean, the obvious answer is you don't. You don't. Not unless you wanted the faster fluid rate. Sorry, Pixel fans, but really, this is a good thing. Google's doing you guys a solid. By putting the same software that the Pixel 5 have to their previous phones. Guys, like, not even Apple does that. Like, Apple gives you the same. Apple will give you the same. Will support their phone for 5 years, but in terms of camera, no. Apple will makes that the deciding factor why you should upgrade. Like, any improvements they did to the camera for next year, for the next iPhone, it doesn't go to the previous years, even though technically it should. And I'm talking specifically for, the features that were for between the iPhone 8 Plus, the iPhone 10R, and then iPhone 11. There, there was really nothing that stopped those phones from having the same features. I think I'm talking for Animojis, but Pixel 5 do. The Pixel 5, they really go out and they make an effort to make sure, there's software parity between their phones that you have. When they say they'll update that software, they mean it. Even though it's 3 years, your phone probably isn't going to last that long. Who really holds onto their phone for 4 or 5 years? I'm not saying that there are not people that hold onto the phone for that long, but it's a very chosen few who have the gene of contentness in them, and I envy that. Um, so, what does this really mean for Pixel in general? I'm hearing, whispers that Google will make the Pixel 6 an all-out phone with the best and the latest. I'm not even going to investigate that because I don't pay too mind of any leaks and rumors. That's just calories wasted on nothing, in my opinion. But it's a Pixel 5 for $700. So if you need a new phone, you want a new phone, you don't want to shop used online or swap or anything, it's a Pixel 5 for $700. Yeah. It feels nice, sexy, and slim. It does the wireless charging, water resistance. I mean, your only real gripe would be if you wanted a phone that's bigger. That would, yeah, that's a genuine want that you can feel let down by. Yeah. Mm. Oh, I'm still showing this, but yeah, but definitely go watch Joker Tech. That's his handle, and subscribe. He has gems like these. He will not lead you wrong. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a new challenger. George from Mobile Geezers here, ladies and gentlemen. And he was editing. Hey, for the show, you want to give a sneak peek on what you're editing? Uh, George, or you upgrade because you're a YouTuber. See that, and it's for that reason that I don't take too much stock on YouTubers when I need to consider upgrading. It's better to listen to your heart than to listen to a YouTuber when you're picking your next phone. But I say that it's better to listen to your heart than to listen to you. But let me tell you, I think I said this story. I've said one of these stories before. One, when I was advising my chauffeur on what his next phone should be. So I'm not going to repeat that. But let me repeat this. I haven't told this story before where I had a coworker and she was a recent Dallas transplant. Let me start off with that. And when she came to Dallas, she didn't have any network on her cell phone. I mean, she originally had Verizon. She had beef with Verizon, and so I think for the month I think that I knew her, she was rocking her phone. It was I think it was an iPhone 7 Plus. She was just I could see her out about using her phone, and it had no cellular network or data. One day she finally, actually, I actually pushed her to get service with Metro because it was price and whatnot. They were great and all. So she goes to get. So we're in the Metro store. I'm walking her through the membership tiers and what she can get or not. And there was a conversation on phones, as there is when you're in a carrier store and you're signing up for service. And the woman was basically saying, it's going to be $15 to, switch phones. You can get a free phone, and she had an iPhone 7 Plus, like I said, smashed to hell. But anyway, they were giving her a free phone, and I usually know us YouTubers know the deal with the free phones when you switch to a carrier. It's usually shit. There's usually that shit phone. Like T-Mobile, they have the Revel phone. Shit, don't do it. Uh, if you go to Cricket, they would probably give you a blue phone. Shit, don't do it. So in Metro, I forget, it was actually an Alcatel phone. And really, the only thing Alcatel I know that's worth recommending was the Idol 4, which was back in 2016. So I was telling her she was probably better off just paying $200 and getting a Moto G7 Power or the Moto G7. She didn't do that, and she just went with the free phone. And everything was great until the third day when the phone just lagged horribly. Like I did not know a phone in 2019 could lag so badly. So she was like, "Screw it." She ditched the phone. She's like, she will pay the $15 and to switch to a new phone, and she'll just buy a new phone. She was gonna go to Android. Oh, he is still editing, and he's watching the cyclist climbing the mountain in Spain to climb a bicycle mountain with a bicycle. Wow, that is amazing. And he's taking a break watching. So she's this was around Prime Day. She was like, she's just gonna buy a phone, and she's gonna jump from iPhone to Android. And so here was what my recommendation was. I and she knew my deal of being a tech head and all that. I was recommending, knowing her, what she does with her phone, the Pixel 3a. And during Prime Day, it was about how much was that phone? It was $300, I believe. Was it? Or like three? No, it was 350. And Google was throwing in a $50 gift card. Was it good? No, I'm sorry. Amazon was throwing a $50 gift card. So you pay $350 for the phone, and you get a $50 gift card. It might have been the Pixel 3a XL. And she was doing for once. She did due diligence for once. I don't know why. And she was listening to Marques Brownlee, and she was like, through all the videos saw, she was like, what? I'm gonna get the OnePlus 6T. And I was telling her like, lady, like the OnePlus 6T is a good phone, but the Pixel 3a is for you. It has the better camera, and all that extra horsepower, that Pixel 6T provides. Everything all right over there? I'll go check on the mess after the show. Anyway, all the power the OnePlus 6T provides, she's not ever going to use because she doesn't game. All she does is Instagram. I mean, literally, like, remember how I started off the story? The 6 month, the 1 month that she had, her iPhone 7 Plus, she had no data, no cell networks. All she was literally doing was just going on her photos album, just scrolling past pictures she already took in the past, or like if she was on Instagram, like if she was at Wi-Fi, she would let the Instagram cache, and then scroll through the Instagram. Pretty much all she did. She did not game. She like not like I am out of trouble to think of like that was literally it. That was the most intensive thing she would do. The most intensive thing she could do was just really just shoot video on her phone. And yeah, in the end she got a OnePlus 6T because Marcus Brownlee told her to. And I think she might have had a crush, she just watched all his videos, but that's what her heart said to do. She didn't listen to this YouTuber, I guess. Hmm? She ended up having to return that OnePlus 6T because there was issues with it. But I think she got another one like right afterwards, the same OnePlus 6T. So I think that one should be okay. But yeah, we'll listen to your heart, I guess. Let's see. It is 7:36, and I do believe that means that polls are now closed on the Eastern Coast. That were open till 8 p.m. I don't really know how if I'm actually going to stay up to watch the count. I think I remembered in 2016. I think was it my birthday when Trump was finally announced as president. I just I went to sleep and I was like, oh shit, he got elected. Hmm. I remember I was watching his inauguration speech on our work computers, and oh, my supervisor came down with a vengeance and shut that shit down. She was like, she's like, turn that shit off. I was like, oh, no, it's history. What are you gonna complain about? It's history, You're not gonna watch an inauguration speech. It's just an inauguration speech. It's nothing really. Of course, uh, number 45 made it something when he had to, make a whole humdrum about the crowd size. Goodness grief. 6T was a great phone. I loved it. What happened to your 6T then, George, if you no longer have it? Can you truly love a phone if you've never kept it in your embrace? Speaking of keeping phones in my embrace, I now have not one LG phone, the V20, not two LG phones. This is the G8X. Not three LG phones. This is the unlocked, no carrier LGX. That's not going to be our journey driver. But I have four LG phones. The LG V60. I had bought this with the hope that I could use this on Visible, and I cannot. Not at all. So for those wondering, I know there was a Reddit on this on the Visible Reddit about if you could use the Visible um, phone on if you can use an LG V60 on Visible's network. This is an unlocked T-Mobile phone variant, and no, you can't. And I've confirmed with Verizon, you can use the Verizon on you can't use the Verizon V60 on Visible's network. So, but oh, wow. I guess you did keep it in your embrace when you gave it to your loved one. Huh. I'm sorry, George. Um, uh, V60, yes. Uh, I've already started the return process with Amazon. I bought it from Amazon, the renewed program, and thank goodness for that program. I think I'm gonna give it a return it by Friday. I need to do like my quick impressions video on this thing, show out some camera samples. But I love this V60, and I don't know what LG was thinking, not making an unlocked model of this phone. Like, why? Why LG? Snapdragon 865 processor, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and again, the battery performance on this thing in terms of standby performance and actual usage is fantastic. Um, and the main standout feature for me is really the can okay, hey, you can see some Inception stuff over here, but there's it's like although the display is 60 hertz refresh rate, when you look at the viewfinder on the LG V60, it's like it's real life motion. It's like it easily looks like it's 120 frames a second or 120 hertz refresh rate. Like it is so smooth and like like you really have to see it to know what I mean. It's like you are actually seeing your motion with your hand. And yeah, it makes your photo taking and video taking experience with this phone so much better. And the construction, like it has vaulted sides, so to accommodate for that 5,000 milliamp hour battery, I was worried on if it was going to be so huge, but it's not monstrous. It's not like the iPhone 8 Plus, which was just like try to ruin your hand by with the whole girth of it. But you that A65 processor really rips through, like. Hmm. But yeah, I have to return it because LG acts up. Some like I don't know what LG was thinking really, but I could probably understand what they were thinking. They were saying, our phones sell through carriers. Nobody buys it unlocked. This is the most money we've ever put down on a phone. Let's just sell it through carriers exclusively. And you've lost the sale, LG, for the V60 because I can't use it on Visible. Mm, mm-mm. But if you're on a T-Mobile or Verizon or AT&T, definitely consider the V60 and get it with that. Get the dual screen case with it, and also get like a Wacom pen if you already have one, because you can use it with the V60 and enjoy. Yes, everyone seems to love the V60 because it does the basics that you would like perfectly. It's the extracurricular stuff that's where yeah, and by extracurricular I'm basically talking about there is the lack of the refresh rate, but I'm not crying about that. But LG has a feature where like Samsung Dex or Huawei's EMUI desktop, where you can plug it into a monitor and treat it like a computer. It's fantastic with Samsung Desk, fantastic with Huawei's implementation. It is shitty with the LG on the LG V60 and the LG G8X. So yeah, don't let that ever be a reason why you should purchase purchase the phone. Purchase it for all the things it can do well, like great video features, great photo taking features, great construction and all that, but not for the using it like a desktop. That it'll break your heart. It, another thing, was there anything else with the V60? Mm, no. But yeah, expect my quick impressions. I would have had it for 2 weeks, so yeah, that it's not really so much like a full review, but a quick impressions. But while I'm talking about the V60, let me also talk about, um, people were crying that the iPhone 12 didn't have, you know, the faster refresh rate, 90 hertz or 120 hertz, and people just want features on a phone because they see other people have it, and sometimes they really should really ask themselves on is it really an essential feature for them, or like you know and you know they need to like make a matrix on features a phone has and how it correlates to them for their usage. Like a faster refresh rate. Like I, if you're a hardcore gamer, that yeah, that I can understand it. That be a make or break feature when you're purchasing a phone. But for someone like even me, like being able to scroll so fast on a smartphone, like it's nice and all. Like yeah, I bring out my V60, but I bring out my iPad Pro, which has it, and it hasn't made any difference to me really, if I'm honest whatsoever. Maybe if I used an iPad, if I used a pencil, or if I was a drawer, it would make more of a difference. But I can give it a miss. Uh, there are, but features that do matter to me, like an SD card. I'll be honest, I was considering the Pixel 4a 5G because I was thinking, 128 gigabytes of storage, and I could work around the limitation of that. It's probably like 115 gigabytes of storage in the end. Like I can use nearby share whenever. But with I like having SD cards because with an Android phone I can just unplug it and then put it into my iPad and start editing off that footage. So like that usefulness that of that feature, still rings true with me as a content creator. And again, like a headphone jack, I like headphone jacks. Actually, no, I'm gonna do a video on why I like on the importance of headphone jacks, and I don't understand people that argue against like it's old technology. Like that doesn't mean it's bad. Like just because it's old, you do know that the computers that are in nuclear plants are old too. Like they run on old software and computer hardware, and they stay like that because that's all they can do. And if they were to be upgraded with something newer, they could be hacked, nuclear meltdown from a hacker, and civilization is over as we know it. Yeah. Like, I think people need to, when they're looking to purchase a phone and they're looking at all the features, they need to look at those features and say, okay, is that fit for purpose? Is it, is the feature fit for purpose? And, but at the same time, I say this, I'm also of the opinion, if you are paying X amount of money, like over $1,000, like not even, especially over $1,200, like I'm looking at the Z Fold 2 and the Surface Duo, um, it needs to like come at me with all the features, even if I may not ever use them. Like that's chump change. That's a lot of change. And well, I'm a good part of the LG education. Well, I'll probably be continue Actually, to be honest, I don't know if I'll be much of an education source if I'm keeping the LG G8X for all of 2021. LG's pretty much said they're not going to continue the V series after the V60, which is a damn shame because if the V60, V70 came unlocked, I'd probably upgrade to that. And of course, the LG G series is also killed. So that leaves the LG Velvet series. I don't know how that iteration is going to play out. And the LG Wing, which is the experimental line of phones. Mm. Uh, for 2020 for LG means they're throwing their whole entire lineup, not just trying different things on their phone, but they're actually throwing their whole product lineup up in the air and seeing what happens. It's unprecedented times, and like I said, 2020 for Google meant we're just gonna do what we do best and just give up on hardware. Like no neural core, no Project Soli. What were we thinking with Project Soli? And what does 2020? I don't know what the hell 2020 means for Samsung. What does 2020 mean for Samsung? 2020 for Samsung. In 2020, they came out at the right time, launching their Galaxy. Galaxy S20 came out at the right time for sure, but then came the Galaxy S20 FE. I think if 2020 for Samsung meant focusing on really aiming at people who are willing to pay more for their money. And I say this because I'm looking at the Ultra series for the Galaxy S20, which, sorry if you bought that phone for its camera performance, you shouldn't have bought it. And then looking at the Ultra model for the Note 20, which is actually the true Note phone. And then they polished up the Z lineup, which consists of their luxury Z folding phones, which was the Galaxy Z Fold 2, a phone that has less storage than the Fold 1, and the Z Flip 2. And what my boy Brian saying? I think everyone obviously sees the technology in the iPad Pro. Expectations wasn't the high in the tech world. I just bought an iPad Air 4, and I don't think 60 Hertz is going to accept me. And you are not wrong. Expectations were high for the iPad Pro, but it's not. It was high because Apple does great shows, presentation shows, and this is iPad Pro. What's a computer when you have an iPad Pro? So people are not being unreasonable. Apple set very high expectations. I mean, I bought funny story. I bought this iPad Pro thinking like, it's gonna have Photoshop from Adobe. And when I bought the iPad Pro, I had to wait a year later for Photoshop Pro. Photoshop Pro, Jesus Christ, for Adobe Photoshop, and I don't know if you can catch it here, but yeah, there's the ooh, let me hide behind the iPad. There's the Photoshop app, and if you can see it, it has the cloud icon because I've never used it. Yeah, I've never used it on the iPad. And to be honest, if I'm ever going to be in a position where I need to do photo manipulation, I might actually just pay $10 for Affinity Photo. Yeah, 2020 has been pretty good to Samsung. Yeah, Samsung's been, yeah. They did release the best Chromebook, the best Chromebook ever, and their most expensive flagship phones. Yeah, so and people are buying them. So yeah, I don't actually pay attention to all to the A lines. I don't. I can't even name an A lineup to you at all. Okay, but mm, actually, if I could actually, I use this, out of all the tech on this table, I use this iPad the most. And, I think my biggest complaints with the iPad Pro is one, it's this whole, how I have to unlock this thing. And then the accessory I bought with it, like this is the Apple keyboard, the Folio keyboard, $100 I believe, or is it 80? And look out here has patina. I gotta give you double patina. It's it's trash. Like Apple, are you even a luxury brand? I'm like, blimey, like thing is wrinkled like a prune out in the sun for 40 days, 40 nights. Oh, and that's it. We are out of Chardonnay. So you know what that means, folks? That's the end of the, what was this? I wonder how many F20 they sold. Maybe not much because all the people who would buy the S20 FEs bought Galaxy, bought the Galaxy S20, and also the you could also buy the Galaxy S20 at the same price of a Galaxy S. Well, let me not fully commit to that, but the retail price of the Galaxy S20 FE is $700. But if you pre-order it or you wait for it, Black Friday deals, whatnot, $600. The Galaxy S20 FE, good condition use or whatnot, it's usually around $708. So I think they'll sell well into 2021. Oh, Eleanor's daughter just got an FE as her first new phone. Well, look at that. She always bought used. I told her she did. She did do great. Yeah, Samsung does has good trading promotions. In fact, the trading promotions are so good that for a second, I actually considered the Z Fold 2. Um, with the Z Fold 2, I think all you would be paying in the end is $1,000 with their trading promotion. And if you sold the phone back to them, if you traded the phone back into them, all you would have paid after 2 years is $1,000. So yeah, they do have great trading promotions. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, let me just quickly see. Oh, my Grand Theft Auto is a fully. Uh, buying from Amazon doesn't give you the same benefit. Well, unless Amazon again does a deal. Amazon is giving you great deals on Motorola phones, Brian and George. I'm saying this specifically regarding Motorola phones. The Motorola Razr 5G you can get for $1,000, which is a $400 discount, and then again the Motorola Edge you can get for $400, which is like a $200 discount. Hmm. Now let me go try it. I've never played Grand Theft Auto 5, and again, like I said, I got this for free. Nothing tastes better than free sometimes, most of the time. Right. So yeah, that's the show, folks. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Tech Tuesdays with Ted. Join us next Tuesday for episode 3, where what are we going to talk about? You know what? I'm going to start my buyer's guide series for next episode on episode 3. But I like to keep these shows short. How long has this show been running? Let me see how this show's been running, folks. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, I can't see. Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to be here to see it. But Crisco 2010, Brian, George, thank you for tuning in. And you guys have a good night. And you guys can tune in for the real show later around 10 p.m. when the countdown starts to see, when we start tallying some balance, but which it might take for the rest of this week. But you guys stay awesome, stay great, stay safe, and I will see